All right, guys. Good evening. Welcome to our team call tonight. We are joining forces with the Refinery and the Dream Team together to kind of bring you something a little bit different and a little special. We have both of our husbands, Matt, which you can see him over here, and then there is Neil. And hang on one second, guys. All right. So we're going to kind of talk to you about spousal support tonight, something that both of us have struggled with at the beginning of our Beachbody business, something that took some time and a lot of communication and a lot of back and forth for us to kind of come up with a system that worked for us. Also, just to get us on the same playing field, to understand what the other person's goals are. You know, we talk about our why, we talk about our goals as coaches, and sometimes we forget to communicate that stuff with the most important people in our lives. And so this business very much is a team effort, especially when you're working together with a spouse and kids and family, or you've got another full-time job that you're working and you're trying to make this work too. And so everything kind of everybody has to be on the same page, good communication, and so that's kind of what we're going to talk to you about tonight. Matt's going to really give you some background and just in our life and his perspective of things, coming from a guy that works full-time, that's always been the head of the household, that's always been the provider, and always will be, you know, a working guy. And so he's going to give you his perspective on this business, and Neil's going to do the same thing. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to let Neil talk first, and then we're going to turn it over to Matt, and then I know that Neil's going to close it out on the end, and we can open it up for questions. Anything that you guys want to know, we'll be glad to answer. So, Neil, I'm going to unmute you, and you can take it away.
Hi, guys. Well, actually, I'm changing the call up a little bit. I'm going to talk about my markings, bodily wigs, and other different toupees that make sense of function. So, let's start. No, seriously, special support. It's a topic that's kind of a big deal for us, and as been in the business for 15 years now, been through a lot of different emotions in supporting Shay, basically. I mean, if the coach in this business is going to make a real business out of this, it's all but mandatory that the partner, whether it be the boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, husband, wife, has to stand by them. It's near impossible to make this business work. And I mean, when I say make this business work, it's okay to float through and do it. If you want to make it work and make this business a success, you need to have the partner's support. It's mandatory. The business brings just the most awesome, tremendous financial, relationships, spiritual, the whole 9 years. My favorite, friendships. 3 years on and 3 years into this, I wouldn't change an absolute thing. However, 3 years ago, I was not like this. I was completely the opposite. I'm going to tell you the story about how we started in the Beachbody business, and you all know Shay's story. That's nothing new. I run my own business. We have 3 children, very, very busy. I'm kind of OCD, so Shay's got this wonderful, wonderful job. She's earning phenomenal money. She's super qualified. I'm super proud of her. Everything's going phenomenal. Then one of her friends comes up and touts her to join this pyramid scheme. Let's join this pyramid scheme. Let's go buy shapes. These are wonderful things. Yay, let's all get on board there. Let's have a party. Heck no. So her upline sponsor and I was trying for 12 months to get her on board, and I was kind of heinous towards her. I said, babe, you've got this wonderful job, you're earning 6 figures. Why do you want to join a pyramid scheme? It's a pyramid scheme. What's going to happen? You got to get people underneath you, you got to convince them, brainwash them, and blah, 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 and try and earn some money. So I said, all right, whatever. It's your life. Let's make a go of it. Let's see what happens. And so she did. She started up, became a coach, and took it a whole lot more seriously than what I was really expecting at this time. And you need visuals really here right now, but I'm sure all the partners there have seen this. Yeah. You got to bed, mate? Yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. hours later, come to bed with the phone, lying down in bed. I'm like, hey, baby. She goes, hang on, I've just got a Facebook message. Gets back to her. 20 minutes later, wakes up at the crack of the door. She's on her phone in the back office. Trying to figure out what's going on. Straight to here. I bring her coffee to her desk. Back on the computer. 24/7. Not even 24/7. It was 50 hours in a day. She was on the computer. And there's no getting away from these things. We'd go out for dinner. Like a little quiet evening together. We'd be sitting there. She'd be on the phone. So I'd be sitting there having dinner on myself, talking to the pretty waitresses all around. Hi, how you doing? This is my sister over here. On the phone. Constantly. Began to start to resent it. We'd get home in the evenings, we'd have the kids, I'd be looking after the kids, I'd be cooking the dinners, cleaning up, washing, blah, 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 blah. Because she was working the business. Not knocking anything, but you still feel a resentment towards them because they're away from you. They're not paying any attention to you, not paying any attention to the kids. The kids were feeling it. And the big key is, she was only $40 a week. If the effort was being paid for, I would have seen through all this, and it would have made it a whole lot easier. She's getting oodles of money or whatever. It would have made it all worthwhile. But it wasn't. It was months and months of just constant computers, phones, lack of interaction with me, with the family, and we had many conversations where this ain't working, sweetie. Something's got to change. This is not working. And we argued a lot. I'd go to the gym on my own, go do this, and I'd sit there just thinking on the treadmill. How can I come up with a productive conversation when we get back to the house to see if we can figure this out? So I'm going to tell you a story now where my aha moment came and where my why came for wanting to put my effort into this business and support Shay. Shay's the coach. She's a genius at this. My role was, which I built in my mind, was, okay, is to support her, make sure she can help everyone in her downline and all the other people around. My why came on Success Club trip back in 2012. Shay joined in July 2011. Obviously, we went through all this resentment phase. She was up for winning a trip to the Bahamas in March 2012. And halfway through, well, about a month or so before we were due to go to the Bahamas, she realised she hadn't got a passport. So she applied for a passport, tried to expedite it. Now, the word Beachbody in my mind at this time was like what my dog does in the garden. I had no interest in this company whatsoever. Really, I resented it that bad. So when I heard that she hadn't got a passport and that she'd applied for it, and I was looking, I'm like, hey, it's going to be like 7 weeks till this comes through. We're not going to the Bahamas. We'll go somewhere else, have a nice quiet trip on our own. So she was there trying to get this passport through. Anyway, the passport arrived the morning we left to go catch the flight from Orlando. So I'm totally bummed out. I'm going to go spend 4 days now with all these other Beachbody people listening to how wonderful iPhones are and Shakeology is and what P90X is and how wonderful Tony Horton is, and I want to get his autograph. So we get to Orlando, we're on the plane, and on the same plane as us is like 1,000 other Beachbody people, all going to the same destination. We get off, we land in the airport, and all these other Beachbody couples, and that's the key word, Beachbody couples came and joined us all. And we're all newbies at this point. We're just like babies in this business, just learning it. We were even a diamond at that point, just a diamond, yeah. And all these couples started to come up, and I started to look around and thinking, hang on a minute, these are the coaches, because you can always tell they're all talking to each other and on their phones and everything else. And then the spouses, guys and girls, were in an adult group, just being introduced to each other. So we go over to the resort, to Atlantis, and the first night is when you get downstairs, you meet everybody and the meet and greet and whatnot else. And this is where I started to learn that this is a little bit bigger than what I probably had to offer at this point. And I remember seeing Carl Deichler and John Cogden get up on stage. It's a beautiful place if you've ever all been to Atlantis. It's moons and stars in the sky, there's little cocktails all flowing everywhere. And there's all these kind of bunch of new coaches which are all put together. And then you've got the seasoned ones. The company's not very old. The company's 5 years old. So you've got like the Christine Dwyers, etc., etc. They've all made it big already. And we're like looking at these people, kind of like, okay, who are you? Well, as the weekend went on, we started to learn through Carl, John, and meeting all these people what the vision is for this company. It's a remarkable vision. And in the last 3 years, they've far exceeded what their original visions were 3 years ago. But the big aha moment for me was mixing with the other spouses and realizing it wasn't just me in the same boat. And Shay wasn't extraordinary and spending 24 hours on her phone, but all of you guys were doing this. And we sat down in our little groups, drinking and chit-chatting, and started to realize, you know what, and listening to Carl, listening to John Condon, and the vision and support and the people that had been helped by these coaches and what they were doing. And it wasn't about making money, it was about you're helping this person's had this transformation, this person's had this transformation. So you start to think, okay, it just, once we left that trip and we became friends with all these new different people and started to make contact with all these new different people, started to resonate with me a little bit more, and I started to think, okay, this is actually a big deal. It's a real big deal. Not only you get paid directly for the amount of people that you help, you get to meet, and this is my personal favorite, you get to meet the most amazing people. And if your partner is the coach that's choosing to make this a business, the trips that you get to go on, you're guaranteed your 3 trips a year. You're going to meet the most amazing people, and they're all going to be on the same trip every time you go. So you get to become the best of friends with some of the most amazing people. I mean, my best friends now, I didn't have 3 years ago. I truly did not. The influence that Shay has amongst her group, her team, it just astounds me how much respect that she has from these people. And she loves every single one of them. Now, don't get me wrong, the financial side is absolutely phenomenal, but it's not about just the financial side. It's because we've never really been that. So we've always had good roles, good jobs. The money was never an issue. But it was the trips, the friendships, the relationships that we've all built up with these people. And in such a small time, we're talking 3 years, we've gone from $40 a week to whatever she earns right now, where we've got stability, family freedom to do whatever we want. We're going to England for 3 months at the end of this year. It's stuff that would never have happened. Now, if you're the spouse sitting here right now, thinking the way I did 3 years ago, totally on board with you, and you have every right in the world to feel that way, but just give them that little bit of a chance. Like eventually I did. I mean, it took me 8 months to give her that chance when I was on board with her, because I was total drawn up towards her and towards the business, not supportive at all. But once I did change, and once I thought, okay, I'll do the washing, I'll look after the kids, that's fine, let's just support her, let's see what happens. We've seen other people's progression through the business and how fast it actually does happen if you're both on board. I mean, you think it's been 3 years, it's actually been like 2.5 years since I actually came on board, and it's been life-changing. I've got my own business. I don't have to work our own business anymore if we don't want to. I do it because it's my self-work. I want to do it. But my main role in life now is to support Shay in what she's doing, in every absolute respect, because it's bigger than anything else that I do. And I don't say it that lightly because I'm talking to you on a call. I say it because I mean it, and I'll stand in front of people in our house when they come round and we talk about the business. I believe in this business. I believe absolutely wholeheartedly in what Shay is doing, and it's paying off. And it's not just paying off financially, it's paying off in everything that involves life. Truly a tremendous business. And as I say, if you're a partner, just try, if you can, drink some wine, suck it up just for 6 more months, and just actually get on board and push them, not away from it, but push them towards it. It's tough. It is tough. It's a pain in the ass. But once you get through and break through, and it happens, and it comes really damn quick, and it snowballs more than you'll ever know, because it just astounds me every single day. Push them. Get on board with them. I've rambled on enough. I'm going to pass you across to one of my favourite parts of this business is my friends. And this is one of my best friends in the world. Never give up, man. I got mine on too.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Neil. That was awesome. I feel like your story is very similar to ours in the way, in the things that you kind of went through. This is my husband, Matt. This is my better half. And he actually works full-time, and he works for Bayer Healthcare, and you're what's your job title? Actual official?
Supply chain lead.
Supply chain lead. So he's up every morning at 6:30, out the door, gone, and home about 4:30, 5 o'clock every single day. So he works a full-time job. We both are managing this together. And the job he had before this, he worked for Heinz for 7 years, which was extremely demanding. So when I started Beachbody, he was working really long hours and traveling. And so, I'm going to let him take over and kind of explain our story of where we came from and where we are now.
Well, hey guys, thank you for having us on the call tonight. I think whenever I told Melanie that we were going to do a call together with Neil and she kind of looked at me and said, this is not going to be the Neil and Matt show, because if you typically know us, we're a little bit more rare form for the most part. But so I wanted to really kind of look back and start 3 years ago. For people who know me, I'm more on the business end of the side. I go to my job, supply chain. I take it very seriously. I love what I do. No complaints whatsoever. And one of the things that I remember was a big issue at the beginning of our relationship was my goals for Melanie. And one of the goals that she always would tell me is she wanted to be the stay-at-home mom. So throughout my career, having our first child, second child comes, we're making the financial sacrifices to make her a stay-at-home mom. So I'm busting my butt every day, doing what I need to do, getting jobs, doing whatever we can, cutting pennies around the corners. I mean, it was a fun time. I mean, I checked my bank account every day to make sure we had enough money, and I told my wife when she could grocery shop and when she couldn't grocery shop. And it was not anything that were we in trouble, no, but it was one of those things that, it added a lot of tension and stress to the relationship and what we really were, going after. So, I had family first, and all of a sudden, Beachbody comes into our lives. And really, again, it was an interesting coincidence of how it came in. Mel had her second son, and she wanted to get back in shape, and it was just, hey, I'm going to do Insanity. I'm like, all right, whatever. Get up, do whatever you need to do, have at it. So then a couple weeks later, she's talking to one of her friends, which, was a past friend of mine who we kind of rekindled a relationship after 5 years. But it was more of a, interesting thing of how the pyramid scheme kind of came in. My wife would show up and be like, oh, look, we got a package at the door today. Oh, where'd you get that? Well, I bought it with my birthday money. Don't you worry about it. All right, that's your birthday money. Have fun. A couple weeks later, all of a sudden it's like, hon, I'm going to sign up and be a Beachbody coach. And I think that was probably one of my most heated things. I'm like, you're stupid. Like, that was the biggest waste of money that you could have potentially done. Glad you threw it away. Have fun with it. So, letting her go. And all of a sudden, from going on to working out and, at the afternoon, at night, that'd become the posts. And then that would take up most of her night. And then, it's walking in the door. Here's the kids, as Neil did, click, 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 and all the way she went. Meanwhile, the house is a little more dirty. The food's not on the table when it used to be, So, sorry. So, the house and the dynamic was changing. And I'm sitting there and I'm getting up, going to work every day, doing everything I can, and it seems like she was just piddling around on this little hobby that she had that was doing nothing. So, I remember one night that I was, Nikki, her coaches, and Katie Hefner came over and said, hey, let's make some dream boards today. And I seriously sat there, and I think I laughed for about 20 minutes and said, what's a dream board? She's like, oh, all our goals. I'm like, sweetie, you're making $23 a week. What goals are you going to put out there? And I heckled them, I think, for a good 2.5, 3 hours, and literally just sat there and just said, oh, this will go, as they're cutting through their little magazines and putting it all on glitter board. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Now this is the business that I want you to be running. So, things progressed, like I said, and Neil structured it out so well. We had our arguments, then we get off our own bandwagon. She'd make a couple changes, I make a couple changes, we go a couple weeks, and then, holy crap, next argument comes and it heats up a little bit more. I remember one of our big fights was over the iPhone. I mean, I was like, she's promised me I won't be on the computer as much if I get the iPhone. Okay, so I got suckered into that. She gets an iPhone. I mean, I don't think I had a conversation in the car with her when we were driving somewhere for at least 6 months. So, you know, we worked back and forth, and it was, like I said, I remember the big turning point in my aha moment was Summit. You know, we're on the plane, we're flying out there, and I get the, hey, hon, just want you to know, this is Southwest. I can change your ticket and put you back on an airplane as fast as possible if you embarrass me at all. So I did my thing at Summit, get there, had fun, meet a couple people. And then the next day, really, it's when it kicked off. And, you know, Mel gets up early, goes, works out, went out and worked out after we were out till 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning at sometimes. And she'd go into the sessions. And I'm sitting there like, what are they doing at this place? Because I don't know if there's a big enough spot to make all these dream boards or whatever they're doing. So I kind of meander into the session, and Mel's up in the front sitting right there, and didn't even tell her, kind of creeped up into the way back row, and I actually sat there for like 2 hours. And I was completely shocked with, you know, some of the visions that they were sharing, their goals, you know, the pipeline. I mean, that was one of the biggest things that was my aha moment, that this isn't the one-trick pony of Tony Horton. This isn't Sean T with a one video. This is something that's changing lives. It's helping people, you know, and it becomes more, like I said, a passion for her. And that was kind of my aha, is like, I need to help change what my expectation or goals are for her also, because, you know, her and with her business and what she wanted has changed. So I can't continue to say she's a stay-at-home mom. And that's where we started, you know, and I think the biggest thing we took out of it was the communication. Instead of walking in the door and handing me a kid and say, I have to go do this, Sunday night, her and I started having the conversations and saying, sweetheart, what do you got going on this week? Okay, I got this, this, and this. All right, you know, what do you need me to do? Where do you need me to be? And how can I help you get through this week? Because we're both busy. And by the way, I'm out of town Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so have fun with those nights. You know, and that's where the compromise started to come on. And, you know, it takes sacrifice. I mean, what business doesn't take sacrifice? You literally can't build anything if you put in little efforts or getting pushed back on certain things. So, to me, that was really whenever, you know, we started coming together. And it took 12 months before we were practically on the same page. I mean, you know, and like I said, I was still going on my tizzies with the finances. You know, like I said, if she started spending too much money, we'd have it out. You know, and slowly it continued to roll. You know, as Neil pointed out, trips. I mean, trips are key because, like I said, you do get to meet some amazing people in the company, outside the company. You know, we've been really fortunate with some of the things that Mel's been going on with. You know, I can't describe, like I said, if I didn't go to that first summit, I don't know if we'd be here today. I mean, it would be something that was that serious. And, you know, as I meet new coaches, new husbands, you know, my biggest thing is, like, get behind your wives or your husbands to really support them on this, because this company's new, as Neil mentioned. You know, we got the opportunity to go to Italy this year, and that was an amazing time because, you know, you got to meet all the leaders of the business that you don't get to see, and you hear stories. I mean, the stories that you hear of how these people came through, and you always heard there's somebody that's not with them, not aligned, you know, doubtful, negative, you know, and how they've overcome some of these situations. It's amazing. Some of the other things that were awesome is you get to sit down, you know, with Carl and kind of just hear side conversations that they're having. I mean, these guys have this thing pipeline, and this is my own personal opinion, a good 5 to 7 years out of what they're truly building this for. This is not, we're going to keep it small, we don't want to really push it, it's just about money. These guys are focused on building a business to help others. And that's really what it comes down to. Because like I said, I had pyramid schemes all through my head, and it took 8 months to get there. This isn't. This is a business that helps others, and it's really, really driven. And the people who are so passionate about it, I mean, I've never seen amazing people that come together all focused on the same effort to help each other out. I mean, that's really where my takes are coming from. You know, my personal take, husbands, since I'm the financial guy, you know, don't look at every paycheck. You know, I took that over from her to watch us because she doesn't look at numbers. She's terrible at numbers. She focuses on running the business. It's not about what you make a week. It's not about, that. I mean, it's always helpful when it goes that route, but, focus on helping them out with what they're doing, showing, I made charts for Mel to kind of like show progressions and things like she had. I was brutally honest with her a lot of times. I remember coming downstairs after she posted the same thing 3 times, like, if you post that again, I'm defriending you, on things like that. And trying to make it a little more involved. I don't do posts. If you look at my Facebook wall, I might post once every 6 months, if that, but, that's her gig. It's not mine. I'm a worker. I mean, I'm going to go to work regardless of what's going on in our relationship and how she's doing in Beachbody. And my motivation to continue to work is, a lot of these coaches, even if they're at the top, they're still working as they're the 200,000th coach that just joined this business because they still want to continue to grow this business, drive it, and help others. And that's really what I think this business is about, is just getting out in front of people and helping others. So
yeah. And I think at the end, it comes down to communication, and involving Matt in what I do. I have a conversation with him about what I do on a day-to-day basis, kind of what I spend my time on, and who I talk to, and I ask for his opinion, and I involve him in it. So, because I want him to know what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, and I think that's helped him, understand what I'm spending my time doing. Because if you were like everybody else out there, Facebook was looked at something that was pleasure before, right? It was just something you did in your pastime. It was not something that we looked at to grow a business. And so now it's like we're spending a couple hours a day on something that we don't know what you're doing. We don't understand how this is a business. And it's all virtual, right? So it's hard to grasp around. You don't go to an office every single day. I would be doing team calls and the kids would be banging on the door trying to get in, and Matt didn't understand. Like, I'm doing something professional. Like, I'm talking to my team. Will you please just keep the kids?
She didn't know it was me knocking on the door.
But the more I involved him, the more he got to hear and be a part of it. And I talked about my strategy, where I wanted to go with my business, how I was going to, get my team to achieve their goals. Then it started to come together. So that communication, like, I just had to explain what I did. There were so many times I'm like, look at this person's transformation, or, oh my gosh, look what this person said. And I'd flip the computer on and show it to him. Even though at the beginning you weren't all that receptive, I don't even think you looked, but I tried. I just kept trying, and eventually it all came together. So for us wives, we have to be, and husbands, the person working this business, you also have to put yourself in that other person's shoes. Like, I needed to step into Matt's shoes. How does he feel? What is going on? Like, there's this transition happening, and I can't just be all about me. I mean, if I want our relationship to work and we want to be happy, then we've got to kind of meet halfway. So, so that's kind of how we worked through some of the struggles too that we went through.
What's great, and what I love about these two women is, although the financial success is like pushing forward like a steam train right now, how humble both Shay and Mel are, how truly they're all about the core of what this business is all about helping everyone else, helping people. And it just blows me away how grounded and how stable they both are, and that helps us, because we go on all these trips and we want to go party and enjoy ourselves, do the dude ranch thing. But I tell you one thing, I can take a photo on any smartphone that you put in front of me. When we were at Summit this year, that was actually a little bit more work that Sharon and Matt will attest to this, where people are stopping and go, can I get a photo with Shay? Can I get a photo with Shay? Can I get a photo with Matt? You learn a cell phone instantly. You can take a photo on absolutely anything. But credit to these girls of how grounded they actually are. And I was like, guys, girls, whoever is the spouse of the coach, just stick with it. The first 8 months to a year are the toughest. They really are. And that's when you've got to find your common ground. That's when you got to do what Matt and Mel do. Sit down, talk about it, and find that aha moment. And say, once you get to a certain point, it snowballs like you would never, ever believe. And I say, it's not the financial that's the big important thing. It's the friendships, the relationships, and everything else that comes with it. Because really, truly, Beachbody is a phenomenal, phenomenal family. It really is. And these trips that we all go on, and these interactions we have on these Zoom calls, and we call each other constantly. We go and have trips with all our friends now all over the country. I mean, it really is. It's changed our lives. It's changed our kids' lives and all our friends and families around us. It really is. So stick with it, and as I say, kudos to Shay and Mal. I mean, absolutely, you've changed all our lives. So
I'd like to add to all of you guys that are new on with this business, or maybe you've been working it a while. When we went to Atlantis, one of the things that one of the speakers said about this business, and he says, you know what, the best people, and this holds true right now for every single one of you on this call, every single one of you, I'm going to say this to you like I heard this 3 years ago, that the best coaches in this business have yet to even get started, haven't even started building their momentum yet. Because we are attracting such amazing coaches to Beachbody in this organization. We're getting ready to blow up so big. So I don't want you guys to think, oh, you know, I missed the boat, or, you know, that's great for you guys. We're baby coaches too. We're still learning the way. And you guys are right there with us, and you are on this amazing journey with us. And I'm going to promise you that you guys have every reason and potential to blow right by all of us. And I truly, truly believe that the best coaches in this business probably haven't even started yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, amen. Amen to that. I do. Even just looking at some of the new up-and-comings, they blow my mind with some of the things that they know and do, and social media is just changing. And so as leaders, you know, and we just have to always be open to learning the new stuff that's coming down the pipe too, you know. I mean, we're not even international. We're in Canada, but we're not international yet. And we're the first MLM to be a $1 billion company, but only be in the U.S., not to be international. So that says a lot about what we've been able to do. And I really respect that Beachbody isn't pushing that faster, and they're doing it the right way because they want to make sure that the company has the system to support that. You know, the customer service, they're trying to work out the bugs. So can you imagine what it'll be like when they do open up in other countries? Can you imagine the possibilities? I mean, we already can have so many people that need our help. Can you imagine? Can you just imagine? It'll be amazing. It's cool. It's a really cool thing. So it's neat. So yes, stick with it. Open communication. Talk to each other. Come up with a game plan. You know, don't think that you're going to get off this call and everything's magically going to be perfect. It's still going to take work. You're still going to have moments where, you know, we get out of balance. We work hard sometimes, and sometimes Matt has to say, Mel, you got to just shut it off. You know, just take a night off. You know, you're getting really into it. And so you just have to keep refocusing. But with anything in life, when you set your goals, you look at what you want for your future, and you say, I really love being a Beachbody coach. I love what I have to offer to other people. I love what this could offer for my family. And you say, is it worth it? You know, and you say, we always say this, short-term sacrifice, long-term benefit, long-term financial plan, long-term retirement. That's the way we look at this. We look at everything we've invested it's our future, and it's our family's future too. So that's why we're willing to work at it together, and we keep going strong. Cool. All right. Do we have any questions? Do we want to open it up for questions?
You guys can unmute yourself, and even if it's like something your spouse has said or whatever, and you want to
something your spouse doesn't want to say, but you want to say it.
I can unmute. Do you want me to unmute everybody so that it gives, or do you want to just kind of say unmute me and I can unmute you on the chat?
Want to talk about Americans, wigs, body toupees?
Yeah, and guys, you know, I'll throw it out there too. You know, if you guys or husbands have questions, concerns, you know, text or email Mel or Shay. You know, we're happy to give out our cell phone numbers or email ones, just even if it's something behind the scenes of, you know, what's going on or just questions about whatever. There's stuff, if you ask me about the behind the scenes of, you know, where to place coaches, I'm not going to have a clue. But, you know, just of like what to do, you know, what we've gone through, you know, anything behind the scenes. I mean, it's perfectly fine. It's, you know, we're here to help.
Yeah. And Matt, you really take on the role of just developing relationships with other husbands. So we go on trips, right? We're going to Arizona next week. So they're going golfing, right? The guys are going to go golfing. They've got their dude ranch activities planned, right? They're going to go to the pool. They're going to go to lunch. They're going to play golf, and they look forward to seeing each other. But it's become that they, like they said, they have these great friendships. And so, a lot of times we think, oh, we can't take our spouse on these trips, or I can just go. Take them. You'll be surprised at how much they'll learn from it too. And it's really cool when they've got a buddy to hang out with, somebody to look forward to for the next trip. So
what's the key with me was the trips. It was interacting with the other partners, guys and girls. It was interacting with the non-coaches, although we are all coaches, but the non-working coaches, and the friendships that you just create is mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. I said that's probably one of the most important things is if you can get your spouse onto one of the trips, Summit being the next one, it's all but mandatory. Get them out there. Get them to mix with the buzz. Honestly, that's the aha moment for most of the partners is when you get them out on a trip and they feel that buzz. Get them onto the trip.
Sarah, you've got a question. I think Monica, you did too.
Sarah, you're unmuted.
Okay, my fiance has been supportive on some of the stuff. Some of it not so much. He thinks that he doesn't get enough quality me and him time. But otherwise, he has been good. He doesn't like that I use my phone too much in the car. Also, that was pretty funny. But my question is on the trips. You both have said that the trips were one of the key things for your aha moments. We both have full-time jobs and 4 children, so the trips might be a little hard at first. How do we do that?
That's a fun one. A lot of people chuckle at me. I mean, I've been blessed right now. I've managed some things to make them happen on my end from work, and kind of getting those guys to understand that. I have a certain amount of time off, and I respect that and do what I need to do. And, it's one of those things that sacrifices. I mean, the way we got the Summit, we begged our sister, my other sister, and Mel's parents to watch our kids for, 5 days.
Yeah.
And the way we got there, I literally, and I'm not a credit card guy because I cut up anything that comes through the door, opened up a Southwest credit card, got the 2 free flights, used them, and canceled the credit card. And, I mean, that was what it was. I mean, and I think Beachbody's done even a better job, too, making sure if you hit Success Club when you join and do some other things that they're offering discounts on the tickets. If you can take advantage of that. Worst case, if you don't go, I believe that they refund you most of the money.
Yeah.
But
I mean, for those Success Club trips, you can take your family with you, so you can take your kids on the trip with you. So that's kind of one.
Yeah, we took our kids down to Florida. For Disney. For Disney, I mean, and that's some of the things, like I said.
I mean, days off. Like he used to take a week between Christmas and New Year's. So now he doesn't take that week off at all. That we go to Summit and we do the Success Club trip, and that becomes his vacation too at the same time, because it is kind of a vacation. You look at it that way for sure. I don't, but he does. So
he's kind of a workaholic, so the whole take a vacation doesn't always happen very much for him, unfortunately.
And you know what? We've actually known a bunch of people who have actually come there and have worked for husbands in the daytime when they needed to, and then at nighttime or at the events, or if there's something that's important that needs to, they can break away for an hour. It's not an all day on the clock type of a deal. It's you can manage a lot of that there. So,
and like Elizabeth's husband for leadership last year, he flew in on Friday. Like he had to work, and then he just came in for the weekend. So he came Friday, Saturday, and then went home with her on Sunday. So that's it too. Yeah, because most of the time, I mean, we're busy during the day in the sessions and stuff. So like I said, the guys have free time to do whatever they want. So yeah.
I think on our side of things, we the first summit that we went to, I had to physically shut my whole business down for the entire term, and that was kind of a big deal for me because, again, it still wasn't bought in. I was kind of like, all right, I'm going to push her, I'm going to stand behind her, but you want me to just close my business down for 5 days now and come out there and join you? And so I was persuaded to, I did it. It was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. Again, you cannot put enough kudos behind these trips.
Yeah, and I'll say too, guys, if you do, I mean, we've got 3 kids. Divide and conquer the way Melanie and Matt, like if you can send one kid somewhere and another one and kind of spread them out to where you're not learning more than one person, that's a really good option if you guys have that option.
Did you guys comment? It can't be on race weekend.
No. It can't be on Steeler football Sunday either. So, but I mean, and I'll throw this one up too. Even if you can't go for a full trip there, Super Saturdays are great information and told too. That you can typically find one close around you guys. What you guys can absolutely just go. It's 2 hours. It's not that bad. Everybody runs it a little bit different, but it gets a lot of insight in the videos and just to see. I know with the ones we do, we have local people who get up and talk and tell their stories, and then we kind of go through the Beachbody video that they provide, and we walk through that, questions, answers. It's another great just tool just to continue to take snippets out of it. If like I said, if sometimes we just can't. I mean, there's certain things that you can and can't work around, but those are kind of nice, easy ones that are there to help out.
My one says I think the 28th. Yeah.
There's another question.
Monica, you had a question? Yeah.
All right, wait, Monica, let me unmute her. Okay, go ahead, Monica.
I think you basically touched on it, but with the Success Club trip so far in the future, and I'm still on the wait list, I'm just kind of thinking, just from a male's perspective, what can I say to my husband? Because I know communication is so important, but what can I say to him? Because he's just like Neil. He jokes me like, go sell some shakes, and, well, why don't you do something else? And it's just, I have to kind of think about how to approach, because we all know men and women are very different, especially in our communication styles. What can I say to him to entice him a little bit more, to kind of get on my side? I mean, I know it's going to take some time, but it's been a while and he hasn't been budging. So I'm just kind of thinking, like, what could Shay or Melanie have said to you or done other than the Success Club trip, or actually seeing it to kind of bring you a little bit more on board?
Well, what Shay did with me, she kept planting the seeds month by month by month from July onwards that she was aiming to win this trip. And the closer it got, the more kind of like, okay, I'm going to end up going on this, I'm going to keep going. But you just keep talking about it, just gently, every now and again. Just
like the visualization.
Yeah, just keep going. We're going here, we're going to Cancun, it's going to be great, it's all inclusive, you're going to get to meet some awesome guys, you're going to just paint the picture of this huge ranch for him. But he hasn't got to sit there in all the meetings, hasn't got to do this, that, and the other. Just go hang out in Lazy River and drink cocktails.
That's it! That is totally it! He will totally want to drink beer with you guys. That will be it.
Welcome.
There you go.
That's it.
That's perfect. Golf. Tell him that Matt will organize golf.
He would love that too. He would totally love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions or thoughts? No. All right. Melly, you want to wrap it up, babe?
I think we're good. All right, so I will share this recording. I actually made it a YouTube video, so I will send that link over to you guys, and you can share it. So if your husband wasn't on the call or couldn't be here, know that you can share it. They can listen. You can even ask us questions after the fact. We're always open. This is a very near and dear topic to all of us because we know what it's like, and you love your significant other more than anything, and you want your relationship to run smoothly. So I hope you take this in, think about it, ask questions after the fact, and know that that's what we do. We're here as your mentor and your supporter. We're here to help you with every area of your business to help it run smoothly. So thank you, spouses, for your time. We appreciate you being here. Matt,
one last question.
Neil, thank you for being a part of it. And let me see, what's this one last question? Last comment, Sarah. Let me unmute you. Hang on one second.
I think I'm unmuted.
Oh, yeah, you're good. You're good.
I just want to say thank you guys for doing this because my husband, who's sitting next to me, he listened to the one, I think it was about 8 months ago, and I've been a coach for I guess it's a little over a year, and he remembers Matt saying, I just went to the pool in Vegas and all the snack you were talking. He's like, I'm going to go hang out with Matt at Summit. But I took him to some of the seminars, and he was the one that was like, all right, we got to go sign up for Nashville. We got to go. So, and I think he's pretty pumped for Cancun. We're still on the wait list. So you guys have definitely helped a lot doing these calls. So we really appreciate it.
Cool.
No problem.
You're welcome. Anytime. All right, guys. Have a fabulous evening, and thank you so much for your time. And bye, Neil and Shay. We'll see you guys later. Take care.
Bye, mate.